Welcome to the Spiritist Companion podcast. My name is Yuri Castro, and I'll be your companion on this journey where we study, reflect, and put Spiritist teachings into practice. If you enjoy what you hear, don't forget to subscribe, to follow our pages, and to send this podcast to someone else so we may spread the seeds of light together. And today, my dear friends, we're going to talk about this passage from Matthew chapter 5, the same one where we have the introduction to the Sermon on the Mount, but on verse 16, where Jesus is going to say, in the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. But what did Jesus really mean by that? By telling us to let our light shine. And are we truly allowing our light to shine? Or are we often hiding the very best within us? Shall we reflect together? So once again, this passage in the Bible is from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5. And depending on the translation, we're going to see different words. So for instance, in older versions, we see, let your light so shine before others. And at first glance, this may seem like a simple statement, something that Jesus told the disciples, told the people back then. I believe people sort of understood, but this carries such a profound invitation to all of us, even until today. To live in alignment with goodness, and I think to express in the world the light that we all carry within us. But from a Spiritist perspective, what is this light? Well, this light, my dear friends, is not something necessarily external. This light can represent our virtues, our moral progress, our spiritual awareness, our capacity to love. Throughout the books of the codification, the codifier of Spiritism, Allan Kardec, he teaches us that the spirit evolves through multiple existences, gradually developing these qualities, these virtues, gradually progressing and increasing the spiritual awareness or the capacity to love, like I mentioned. So in other words, we all, my dear friends, have light. But of course, it exists at different stages of development. We're each developing at our own pace, but we all carry this light within us. I think that through Spiritism, we can gain a lot of knowledge, but with this knowledge, we also increase our own responsibility. Our own responsibility to shine our light, because knowing more is not just about accumulating information or learning everything that we can just for the sake of it. It is about living better. It is about acting with greater awareness. That's why letting your light shine does not mean seeking attention. Absolutely not. It means living what we already know, practicing the good that we already understand, that we already preach, that we study, that we read about. Consistently, Jesus also mentioned in the parable of the lamp, we can call it, when he says, no one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket, which goes hand in hand with this idea of letting our light shine, because in other words, light was made to illuminate. Goodness was made to be lived. Therefore, keeping goodness only to ourselves, putting it under a basket, quote unquote, is a waste of spiritual opportunities. And a lot of the times, these opportunities, they come once in a lifetime, or we beg for them before we reincarnate. But when we get here, we end up putting the lamp under a basket. Well, why do we do that then? If Jesus told us to let our light shine, why do we often hide our light? If we all have it, why doesn't it always show? Well, a lot of the reasons for that are pretty much very human. Because we fear the judgment of others, we have our insecurities, we let pride guide our actions. We can think of also comfort and complacency and environmental influence. How much are we being influenced by our own environment? Sometimes we know what is right, but we still don't act on it because of these reasons. The Spirit author Emmanuel, who wrote through the hands of Chico Xavier in the book The Way, the Truth, and the Life, message 180, he's going to say, take advantage of the sources of light along the way. Use the wick of goodwill, the oil of service and humility, and kindle your torch for the journey ahead. Thank those who light your way for an hour, for a few days, or for many years, but do not neglect your own lamp. And I think, my dear friends, this is such a deep passage that connects very well with the message here. When we're talking about letting our light shine, we can, like he's saying, take advantage of the sources of light that we find along the way. Sometimes this will be the light from others around us, from people that are very illuminated, that guide our way, and we can definitely take advantage of that. However, we cannot neglect our own lamp. We cannot neglect this idea of lighting our own light, because as he's also saying in this message, it is possible to progress by using other people's lights, but without our own, we are in constant danger of stumbling. Because what happens if the other person is not there anymore? What happens if the other person is not shining their light for one reason or another, and then we don't have our own? And I think an important point in this reflection is to think that shining is not about being perfect, because our dear Master Jesus did not say, well, be perfect first and then shine. No. He said, let your light shine, meaning we don't need to feel fully ready yet. We don't need to be flawless. We actually don't need to know everything. We simply need to begin with what we already have and who we already are. Letting our light shine is not seeking recognition or wanting admiration, feeling superior. No. True light is humble, is quiet, is useful. Because if it's generating pride, well, it is not light, it is vanity. And that's not what Jesus was talking about. He was not telling us to be vain. And for us who know about Spiritism, for us who have been studying selfishness and pride, even in previous episodes of this podcast, we understand that we are given a great opportunity to shine our light, but also we have great responsibility as well. To know the truth and not live it increases, or let's say, our moral debt. So it's not enough to study, we must definitely live it. And thinking of some examples here in real life, let's think first at work. You know what is right, but sometimes you see wrong attitudes around you. Letting your light shine may, in this case, mean acting ethically, even when no one's watching. Avoiding gossip or treating everyone with respect. You then will become a quiet example. Also at home, my dear friends. Yes, at home we often lower our guard, but that's exactly where the light needs to shine the most. Being patient when it's hardest. For instance, listening with attention and avoiding harsh words in discussion. Because the light oftentimes begins at home. Congruently, let's think of moments of conflict when someone offends us or provokes us. The automatic reaction is what? To react. To fight back. But shining our light in this situation can mean choosing to remain calm, choosing to respond with dignity, refusing to feed the conflict. Yes, it takes a lot of effort, but it definitely transforms the environment and ourselves as well. We can also think of helping without being seen, something I already talked about in the episode about charity. Not all light needs a spotlight, so shining also means helping anonymously, doing good in silence, and supporting someone without necessarily broadcasting it. Number 5, I brought here being an example. Often we want to teach, but we forget to live. So we preach, we study, we want to pass along the information, but we sometimes forget to live that. Always remembering that true light does not impose, does not shout, does not forcefully convince. It inspires. And what about if we fail? Or I should even say when we fail, because, my dear friends, we will continue to fail. We'll continue to stumble. We all have moments when our light seems to dim. But that's part of the process too. What matters is to acknowledge it when that happens, also to adjust and always to try again. The light does not disappear. It may weaken, yes, but it can always be rekindled, always shine brighter. Let us not forget the greatness in the small actions too, because sometimes we think that shining our light or letting our light shine only means the big things. No, we should never think that our actions in the favor of good are too small, because they're not. A simple act of kindness can change someone's day, can ease someone's pain, can inspire transformation, because light multiplies. So what are some practical applications of this knowledge? Be consistent. Leave what you believe. Leave what you learned already. Number 2, start small. Simple actions, dear friends, have a great value. Number 3, watch your attitudes, because light shows in the details. Number 4, avoid prideful actions. True light is humble, remember that. Number 5, persevere. Even when difficulties arise, because they will. Keep trying. My dear, dear friends, we don't need to wait for the perfect moment. We don't need to wait to feel perfectly ready. We don't need to be perfect at all. The light that we all have today is already enough to illuminate something around us. That could be a person, an environment, even a situation. And little by little, this light will grow, because every act of goodness strengthens the spirit, expands awareness, and brings us closer to God. So don't hide what is best within you. Shine, even if it's just a small flame. Because in the quiet practice of goodness, my dear friends, that's where the world truly begins to change. What a blessing, my dear friends. We reached the end of another episode, this time episode 45 of the Spiritist Companion podcast. Thank you so much for your company. And if this message resonated with you, please share it with someone who also needs to remember their own light. We'll meet again in the next episode, the next Monday. And until then, remain in peace. Trust in your potential for growth and keep moving forward, step by step, letting your light shine. With fraternal love, your Spiritist Companion.